Okay, welcome to this chat about how you can completely overcomplicate a simple game in relative terms, like golf is a club and a ball where you might have a tee and you tee off at a tee and you go in a direction towards a small circular object with a flag in it called a hole. And you've got to avoid hazards like holes filled with sand that we call bunkers, and long grass that we call rough, and trees and other stuff like water, things like that. And obviously, you've got to get there, so you've got to hit the ball, walk or drive a cart, and then hit the ball again and continue out until you put it in the hole. Um, the object of the game is driven by your desire and your concentration in here of making this little ball go where you want it to go. Ben Hogan said that the mental game of golf is 70% and the physical game is less than 30%, possibly 25%, 30% maximum is physical. 70% of it is mental. Well, we all know golf is mental. But if you haven't subscribed already to this channel, think about it. It's free. We have chats we have on course vlogs, all for charity, and we also do like my progress at the range, stuff like that. One thing that's been annoying me lately, though, is the thousands of YouTube videos populating my algorithm, because obviously I talk about my swing, things I've found from Harry Varden, from Mike Austin, from Ben Hogan, from Sam Snead, Lee Trevino. Sadly, we had to take down a lot of the Lee Trevino videos, but you guys all saw them. That's just YouTube being hard to understand, but it's like you get copyright stuff, and it's bizarre because it's a learning channel and you're using things for educational purposes. So how can it possibly be falling into the bounds of copyright when you've got the fair use policy? Don't go into that, but if you're trying to learn something, you're looking for educational purposes and you use little bits from it. Because nothing over the 100 years plus of golf has changed. It's got lost, and obviously we're on a journey to find it again. But these videos that are populating YouTube just now, I was going to say watch them if you want, but honestly, I wouldn't watch them. Half the positions and half the moves that the guys are putting in, and oh yeah, do this, turn, drop, rotate, and get, what are they on? These positions are not positions. That is not a position. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in one of these positions in under 1 second, 1.23 seconds, fantastic. Don't worry about it. It's just your natural swing. It's finding your natural swing and bringing it out. And you'll do that by swinging simply on the 45. And when people say, oh yeah, but the 45 is... the 45, right, is a simple concept. But it's so simple, people get really confused about where it is. We take this book here, we turn it this way is probably better. We turn it that way, right? So there's your railway lines. Your feet your shoulders and this magical line here, going up here, from here to here, which on your body is from here to here. Lead arm. That's your 45 over a 90. There's no mystery about this. It's maths. You have two linear lines. The linear lines are dictated from the start in the golf swing because you are standing side on to a ball. It's about the only sport, to a degree, basketball, everything like that, you're standing in front, you're to the target. Baseball, to a degree, is like golf, but very, very different because the ball is pitched to you at like shoulder to midriff height, so it's not on the ground. And all of these sports, they are based on, because you're at the side and your shoulders are then at an elliptical angle. So you're standing not only on the 45 in space this way, but when you tilt, your shoulders tilt, obviously that way. And you're then on an elliptical arc on the arc, which everyone talks about playing, obviously, depends on the club. Wedges will be more kind of, get to a driver way. Yeah, so you're playing alters with the length of the club. Not so much with the one length, but you're still talking a change from a driver, like as in flatter, more arc, to a wedge, which is going to be less arc. Obviously, with one length, you're consistent there, but that's the theory behind one length. But obviously, barred and grip, the target points going up to your trail shoulder, none of that has changed. It can't change because you're setting up the same on the railway lines. You've got to use the 45 to your advantage. Now in 3D space, when you move on the 45 and move your turn, you're affecting the club on to the arc. And Cooper Osborne Golf talked about the Fibonacci spiral, which is the purest move of your trail hand, which is this kind of move, or this kind of move if the club's there. Yeah, but obviously you've got your turn. Now, your turn is taking you in 3D space this way, and your 45 is taking you this way. But the two, like a gimbal, if you've watched a gimbal, it's moving three directions at once, but it holds its position. It's three axes. And that's what you've got in your golf swing. You've got three axes that have to move independently, all on different directions, but together, they give you one plane. Right? Or depending on which way this video is shooting it, but you get the gist. And you've got to do all that in under 1.2 seconds. It's mind blowing, really. And if you put a club into a child's hand and don't tell them anything, and instinctively they'll find the path through the path of least resistance, which is the 45 throw, plunge a turn. So you've only got to do two things in this swing. The videos out on YouTube just now are really quite frightening from a point of view that if you're trying to break down a golf swing, which is motion and movement, into, you pull your hands in here, you then twirl the club up here, you then move your weight, counter kick go load in and then drop. And what? It's mind-blowingly overcomplicated. You do not need to know this information. It's like a set of instructions for a flat pack furniture. If you were to put everything in there about they just put the minimum instructions so that you can build this piece of flat pack furniture. Yeah, and that's it. You have no more information in the instructions than you need to build that flat pack up, right? You know, you take the panel, you put the other panel, you put 2 screws in, etc., and you end up with at the end of it, right? But in golf, we seem to think if you add as much crap and shit and bull in as possible, people will, I don't know, like, think you're the guru, or I cannot understand why. Well, it's easy to understand why people don't get better at golf, because they actually fall down this rabbit hole, and as they go down, they get deeper and deeper and deeper. But a rabbit hole, as we know, is not like a straight hole; it's all over the place, right? So you will, on your journey, have partial facts that will help you, but in the general journey from the top to the bottom of wherever this hole ends, you've lost your way completely. You'll never find your way back to where you were. You've basically knackered yourself. So I am at a loss as to why golfers and people posting stuff on YouTube think that the more nonsense they put in, the better you're going to get. When was the last time you ever stood on a range hitting balls? And if you were trying to work on whatever you were working on, but when was the last time, if you were even on a golf course and you hit a ball, you actually had a thought in your head? You might have a thought in your pre-shot, line up, look, right, I want to do this, I want to hit the shot low, high, I want to draw, I want to fade. But once you're over the ball, there's some sort of like blackboard. There's nothing there. Nothing. So you are hitting that ball purely on instinct and feel, but there's no conscious thought. Your brain has a lot of things to do in under 1.2 seconds. It's not got time to think of anything when it's doing that. It just works on feel, instinct, and to a degree, memory. Controversial topic, memory, innit? They say muscle memory doesn't exist. You hold a knife and fork, you start eating, you could start cutting with a knife and fork. At any point, do you ever stop and think or have a thought in your head about what you're doing with a knife and fork? Golf's the same thing. You need to know the objective, the end point, the goal. In between that, the less you know, the better. Otherwise, you're going to confuse the heck out of. It's most frustrating to watch this going and playing out on YouTube on countless hundreds of channels, all seemingly at the same time. It's like being populated by algorithm that believes something and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Doesn't mean it's right. And it's certainly not helping golf or any other sport. It's the same in every other sport. Racquetball sport, football, the ball comes to you, the racket just flows, the foot hits the ball. You have a goal, you have like a target, but there's no conscious thought going on there. It's a split second instinctive response. That's what you want to set free in your golf. Not planned, contrived, fake controlled moves that will never ever bring anything to your game. You've got to let it go to find it. If you've ever thrown a golf club in anger, you don't like hold on to it, do you? You let it go and it just goes in the direction you've thrown it in. It's like a dart. If there's any tension there or preconceived hold or can't release it, you're going to miss it. You're going to throw it in the wrong direction. You didn't intend to do that. It's because you're interfering with your visual cortex side of your mind has to see what it's going to do. But you don't want the other part of your mind that is controlling all this magic to have any secondary guesswork involved or like a doubt. Because then, ever stood on a tee and you've done all your work, you've went, right, I'm going to hit a draw, I'm going to hit it up that left side of the fairway, you walk into the shot, you set up, line up, and out the corner of your eye, you see a tree. But you don't reset, you just hit the shot. You've just hit the tree. Why? Because it was the last thing you looked at and your brain doesn't know any better. It's like, well, I must be aiming at that tree. It's like when you hit a shot and the last thing that you say before you pull the trigger is, I don't want to go in that bunker, or I don't want to go in that water. Get straight in the water, straight in the bunker. Because your survival prehistoric skills as a hunter-gatherer have never ever changed. Hardwired in there somewhere. So you can actually play better golf and natural golf by having less thoughts and only concentrating on one target. Now, that isn't as easy as it sounds, because in modern life there's lots of different things coming in all the time, distractions, and you have to focus. And we go back to what Ben Hogan said. Scheffler's won 5-6 tournaments in a row now, a couple of majors, 3 majors, and 70% is mental and less than 30% is physical. So if you're going to do anything, you need to start. It's not a case of full concentration. It's a case of zoning out. So that great. I think that'll be the gimbal gone to sleep. Either that or it's just, I don't know. We'll stop the video because the gimbal has decided to, unless it starts back up again. Maybe it's needing charged again. Must be. Boo. Right, see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the last bit.